Greetings from the city of brotherly love. I am Fernando MEndez, host of the Roundtable. We invite you to listen to our discussion of the themes of the day when we bring you regional, national, and international news. Señores oyentes de Usa la Radio, estamos aquí de nuevo con su programa La Mesa Redonda, The Roundtable, desde el corazón de la ciudad del amor fraternal. Les habla Fernando MEndez, Dani Ramos controla la máquina digital. Nuestro invitado especial el día de hoy es Bill Salvatore. Let me see if we get Bill here. Here you are, Bill. Good.
Right here.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up with you? Can you hear me okay?
Long time no see.
I know. What happened?
It's great to see you.
Good to see you.
Well, we went into a brief hiatus, so that's why we didn't contact you before, but here we are. Bill, for those of you who do not know, Bill is in one of the main founders, I guess, of the Unity Cup in Philadelphia during the Kenny administration. This competition began with a few countries, and now, well, Bill will tell us more about it. It will also tell us about the outcome of that cup, that competition. So, Bill, let's hear it. What happened?
We're back. Well, it's good to see you. I like the new setup.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it looks good. I see the little scrolling underneath. It's good.
Next time you have to come here in person.
I would love to. You know,
okay.
I'm all for in person. I'm waiting for my booster, and I'll be good to go.
Excellent. Yeah, I already got mine, and now the government is recommending everybody gets a booster shot. So anybody who's eligible.
Yeah, I do subscribe to all your social media, just so you know. So you got to start using it more.
Right. So, Bill, tell us about the Unity Cup. I know that I think a record number of countries participated in this one.
Yeah.
And so what happened?
Yeah, so we had 52. We started with 52 back in August, and we worked our way all the way down to 2 in the championship. And you'll laugh because these West Africans, no one could beat them. Liberia beat Sierra Leone on a rainy Saturday night, 1-0.
Again?
Yeah.
What's this with Liberia?
Well, I will share something with you, and this will come as a shock, but not a shock to you. We did have a little issue in the semifinals, and we had to suspend a team. So Liberia pushed through when they probably could have lost a match. It was just unfortunate. Some disciplinary action had to be taken, and not good for the Unity Cup. So we settled it. Wasn't too much drama around it, but it was not a good semifinal weekend.
Was this related to vaccination or some other issue?
No, it had to relate to gameplay and
okay.
Yeah, how some of the players were behaving towards the game officials.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but okay. So Liberia played Chile in the final.
No, I played Sierra Leone.
Oh, Sierra Leone. Okay, so 2 African teams.
Yeah, 2 African teams.
That's amazing. And where are they in the the World Cup internationally? I mean, I know they compete in Africa, but I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's funny, and I say funny like ironic funny. So because of the Unity Cup and Liberia being so popular, I see all type of Liberia type ads and posts on my social media, right? And they're constantly posting stuff about the national team, like the Liberian national team. So I was talking to some of the players, and they said that the way that the Liberian national team puts together their World Cup team just isn't the right way to do it. Like they go and they find the best Liberian players that are in Brazil or in the United States or in Australia, and they fly them in, thinking that they can win the African Cup of Nations by bringing in the best Liberians from across the world. When in reality, you should be growing them at home, and trying to have a cohesive team.
You should have a team early on. That's what they're saying, right?
Yeah. They only play together. The national team only plays together when they bring them together for the World Cup, which is crazy.
Yeah. Well, some big soccer countries have failed at the World Cup precisely because of that. They try to import at the last minute the best players they can, but that doesn't always work.
Right now.
Yeah.
And you can see, I think you can see the USA is starting to turn it around a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Um, I don't know. We should qualify now, but you can see like that team that they have is homegrown, right? They've been playing together for a few years now.
Right.
Pulisic is as homegrown as they come, and he's their star player. So,
Right. What other country has been a surprise? I mean, obviously in this case Liberia and some of the other African countries, but what other surprises do you see in this?
yeah, who was very surprising? Belarus.
Belarus. Okay.
Belarus. Yeah, they end up being the number 2 overall seed, but they got upset in the first round of knockouts.
Okay.
They had a very good group stage. Jamaica had a very good group stage.
How about the big names? How about the big names? Brazil, Argentina,
Yeah,
Colombia.
Brazil went pretty deep. Argentina struggled a little bit. Um, Colombia played Ireland in the quarterfinals,
Yeah.
and Ireland had three scoring chances. They scored them. They scored on all of them. Colombia had about 30 scoring chances. They scored on none of them.
Didn't go ahead.
It was just a terrible luck of the draw.
That happens to them on the national level too. So, oh man. Okay, Bill, this was created with a desire to sort of unite all the nationalities in this city, and that was the original vision. So, how is that working in terms of creating more of a sense of community?
Yeah, I mean, a couple levels. Number one, kind of within communities, it's worked really well. I was talking to a gentleman who actually works for the city. He works for community schools, and he was new to the United States a few years back from Ghana, and he got connected with the Ghanaian team, and it helped him integrate with like that community here. And
Hmm.
then what they found out was that there was other folks like him around the city, and so within their community, they were really able to become cohesive. And they were another nice surprise team. They were the number 5 team overall, and they lost to Sierra Leone in the semifinals on a shootout. So they had a chance to advance. Um, so that's a really nice story from like within the community. Same thing happened with Team England. I don't know if you know the guy Danny Higginbottom. You ever hear that name?
Yeah, I know the name. Yes.
Yeah, he played for Manchester United. Now he does some announcing for
Sure.
the Philadelphia Union. So he came to live in Philly, and he didn't really know much of the English community. And he connected with the Unity Cup team.
Hmm.
So that brought them together. He wasn't enough though to put him over the top. um, so
Yes.
yeah, so I'd say within the communities definitely, and then between communities, I think I told you this before, but there's a lot of fun stuff that goes on our group chat. Whether it's they're trying to share players for youth tournaments, or someone's looking for a carpenter, and like this guy, owns a construction business, and they connect that way. Um, they're constantly in talks about like friendly matches. So I think we did a really good job, and I really what I'm most proud of, I would say, is our connecting the immigrant populations to the city.
Right.
City service was really hard to come by for immigrants prior to 2016. I think we did a really good job bridging that gap.
Bill, how's the media coverage? Because I mean, I've met a couple of English people. They say like, I never heard of this Unity Cup, even though there's an English team in there. So,
Yeah, so it's kind of hit or miss. A lot of these news stations, like the big news stations, they'll promote for us a little bit. Like 6ABC is a media sponsor, and they'll do like
right.
PSAs and things like that. Um, we don't get a whole lot of press because uh, they're always looking for like some sort of hook, right? Like, what's the good story?
Right.
And a lot of these guys, they come from like war torn countries, and they escape persecution, all kinds of stuff. They don't want to talk about it.
Right.
It's like they lived it. They don't want to rehash it.
Right.
So it's like, where do you find the story to really elevate it? You
Hmm.
know?
I think we can probably find um, uh, a few friends here to promote the Unity Cup in the community. Some of the uh, publications like Impacto and others that were covered for the Latin community. But it's obviously you will benefit from more coverage from the big media, ABC, CBS, and NBC, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll tell you something interesting. We have no problem connecting with immigrant communities for the tournament. Like they come out in full force.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had 1,800 as a championship. That was mostly from the African communities. We can't get like the suburban soccer communities to like get interested in it.
Wow.
And we have like, you know, and I'll just come out and say it, like a lot of Caucasian kids that play soccer, right? Like whether it's in Philly or in the suburbs, and we just
Right.
can't get that. We can't mobilize them. That's the tricky part.
It would be great to get, I don't know, some out of the top of my head, to get the Unity Cup champions to play, say, the Catholic League champions and that kind of stuff.
That could be pretty neat. Yeah, we actually
Yeah.
have. I'm actually working with Harrisburg
Yeah.
because they want to start their own Unity Cup. They have very diverse population up there, so
Right.
they want to do it in such a fashion that it kind of parallels ours, so
Yeah.
that our champion can play their champion,
Excellent. Yeah.
which is pretty neat.
I'm sure that I'm just putting ideas out of the top of my head. You probably have looked at the whole panorama of how to promote it and where to promote it.
Yeah.
In that same vein, look at our local, the Union team. It's amazing what they have done, right?
Yeah. They had a vision, I guess, 6 years ago, and they stuck with it. You
Mhm.
know, I remember the first year of the Unity Cup, like being able to go down to, Union Stadium. It was, what was it at the time? Talent Energy, at Subaru Park. And we can get on the field no problem. We had a youth game down there. We used the practice fields because there was no playoffs then. Now, when we go down, it's like really, really tight what we were allowed to do because they're worried about their facilities because they're a perennial playoff team.
Yeah, there's a friend of mine, Dario Belot, who's involved in that somehow, and he's amazed how the team is promoting youth soccer, educating them and training them properly, which is what we're supposed to do: create school like Barcelona, Real Madrid, all the big teams in Europe do. So
Yeah, that's a good model.
yeah. Okay, Bill. The other big item on your agenda is the World Cup and how we're going to get something to happen in our lovely city and how to prepare the city. Of course, we need the streets to be paved. We need the the city to be clean, etc. I hope your project, the Unity Cup, continues beyond Mayor Kenny. I suppose it will because there are people like you involved in it. But
Yeah.
uh, I would like you to comment on the efforts to bring the World Cup here to Philadelphia, and I know there are other big cities competing, so we'll find out. I'm going to take a short break here in Usa la Radio de Roundtable. Les habla Fernando Méndez. Estamos con nuestro invitado especial, Bill Salvatore, hablando sobre, en este momento, deportes, sobre todo el fútbol local, nacional, internacional. No se vayan, regresamos en un momento.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But I get it, you're busy, and busy people can't have prediabetes. I read that wrong. They can, okay? Just go to the site.
Toma menos de un minuto saber si está usted en riesgo de padecer prediabetes. Puede averiguarlo aquí. Visite esta página.
Señores oyentes de USA la Radio, estamos aquí de nuevo en la mesa redonda de Roundtable. Les habla Fernando Méndez, nuestro invitado especial, Bill Salvatore. Dani Ramos controla la máquina digital. Well, Bill, I want to talk to you about your efforts to help. You are part of a committee that's trying to bring soccer to our lovely city to bring the World Cup competition. Um, Before we go there, before I forget, because the memory of a chicken. Um, Today is a very important day, a historic day. In 1963, November 22nd, it's an unfortunate date. It was the assassination of JFK. So I will not forget to mention that because he was one of my favorite presidents. For many Latin Americans, he is the one president who did something concrete to help raise people out of poverty. So that's my sort of way to honor his memory. Um, so, Bill, we wanted to talk about your efforts of the committee to bring the World Cup here.
Yeah, so back in September, they did their site visit. I'm sure you saw that on the news.
Yeah, yeah,
So we split into three groups that day. Um, one group did the tour of the possible fan fest locations. Another group did the tour and the logistical stuff down at the link where we would play the World Cup matches, and then I was on the tour of practice sites. So what they asked for are four full size practice pitches that are natural turf, um, that don't have a lot of traffic or a lot of noise and are private. So um, we cruise around the city looking at Drexel and Penn and NovaCare Center, and then we looked at where the fields will be at FDR Park. So, uh, I think the debrief after that visit, everything felt pretty positive. They liked our pitch, so to speak, for the practice sites and for everything else. And we'll see. I mean, we're supposed to hear first quarter of 22, so January, February. Hopefully, we know something.
So how has the process been? Because I know that usually it gets muddled up in politics and sort of the trading favors and all that we know it has plagued choices for venues before. So what's happening?
Yeah, so I mean, they send you, and they did this before the site visit, but they send you this packet of information to fill out, and everything from like hotels to like transportation to field amenities, and then which I really like and it's really important for our department and really important for the city. Um, there's a racial equity component to it as well.
Okay.
So you have to have a racial equity plan for your city, which we already have, which is nice. And then you have to talk about a legacy project, and again, the legacy project fits in right what we're doing at Parks and Rec because we're doing a master plan down at FDR Park in South Philly, and the legacy project down there would be two full size grass pitches um, that we built in time for the World Cup, so they can use it as a practice site. They'd be there forever for us to use for Unity Cup or for youth soccer, for tournaments or whatever.
Hmm.
So, really good stuff. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, a lot behind the scenes, a lot of communication. But I feel good. I mean, I look at the cities that are competing with us, and New York is going to get it, and LA is going to get it, right? Chicago, Dallas, probably, but like Kansas City and Nashville and Cincinnati, I mean, I can't see them securing a bid over us. I mean, we're just so good at doing big events.
Yeah. Now, the fact that we are so close to New York and Washington, which have been previously chosen as sites, how about the fact that we're so close to New York? Is that to our benefit or it goes against us?
I don't think New York affects us at all, to be honest. I think
Yeah.
it comes down to um, kind of. I honestly think it comes down like to time zones, like when you can play games and then
Right.
when you can broadcast games. Because remember, it'll be going worldwide. So, um, I, look, Baltimore and Washington both put in for it. I mean, it'd be silly to give them both.
Uh-huh.
You know, same
Yeah.
thing. Orlando and Miami both put in for it. It'd be silly for them to both get games. Boston put in for it, but they'd have to play at Foxborough, which is 30 minutes outside of Boston.
Right.
Their transportation up there is terrible. So you look at the East Coast sites, I feel like it's like New York, Philly, Atlanta, and then maybe one Florida site.
Is the transportation shaping up for us as a positive aspect?
Yeah, because the fact that you can get from Center City to the Link in 10 minutes
Mm-hmm.
is a huge win for us, right? I mean,
Right.
you just think of how our stadiums are situated. It's in much better shape than a lot of other parts of the country.
Right.
You know,
So, and with this infrastructure bill, I hope that somehow it has a fast impact on some of the other needs to improve certain roads and sites and so on. So,
well, you know what? If they come back in January and they say Philly's going to host, you wait
Yeah.
to see how fast things move in this city.
Yeah, that's the one thing is money talks. As soon as we have the money, let's do it.
Yeah.
The- how about the fact that and this is politics? Philadelphia is not favored by Harrisburg in terms of the politics. So if they get to say anything about how the money is distributed, we may have a little bit of trouble. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it just benefits the whole state, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yes. Um, yeah, this is amazing anyway for the U.S. to get the World Cup. Is good for us. It's good for our spirit. I'm still a long time ago. I predicted that eventually there will be a World Cup champion from the U.S. and I think we're probably a little distant from that, but we're getting much better now. I mean, we have some of our players that are in international games who are playing in England in the Champions League, Pulisic and a couple of other people. That's how the team will get better eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing that we should mention as part of this, from a Philadelphia perspective, don't forget that it will be summer of 2026,
Right.
right? So that's the 250th birthday of the country. We're hosting the Major League All-Star game that summer. And, the World Cup goes right through July. It would be pretty neat to have a U.S. game on July 4th in Philadelphia.
Right. Yeah.
Just saying. I mean, if they're really looking at like some sort of crazy good angle, like that would be something I would definitely look at.
Yeah. The next one in Qatar is sort of an anomaly. They moved it from the summer to December.
Yeah, because they played in the summer, they'd all die.
It was 150 degrees in the shade.
Yeah.
I'm curious about that. What are they doing? Building tents all over the place? What are they doing?
I don't know. I did read that Qatar is one of the countries in the world that are piloting those outdoor air conditioners.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah. Again.
Yeah, and I hear they're using ships as hotels too. So.
Are they? I didn't hear that.
Yeah. And around Doha and others part of the Middle East. I don't know much about this World Cup because I haven't seen what they're doing in Qatar. But I suppose they have the money to do whatever they need to do, right?
Oh yeah, of course they do. That's how they got the World Cup, because they had the money.
Oh yeah, well that's another story. That's a sore point with a lot of the world, how they got it, how Russia got it, and how Qatar got it. At least when we got it, was a cleaner process because the main culprits were gone by then. No? So anyway, unfortunately, all this we cannot live in sort of silos, and everything that we do, sports wise, and everything gets involved in politics eventually, and especially when there's money involved, trillions of dollars in this case. I don't know what. The cost of the World Cup. Do you have any idea how much money they spent to stage the World Cup?
I know that we were tasked with raising $50 million before they even came for their site visit.
Wow.
So I think we actually raised over 75, which was good.
So how do we raise that kind of money?
Uh, corporate donations, private donations.
Okay.
Like the committee just went out and started saying, "Hey,
So
this is what we're trying to do."
yeah, somebody as part of the committee, somebody is in charge of getting the money.
Yeah, we have a fundraising
Uh-huh.
portion of the committee. That's not my arm.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So I hope we do well in the World Cup, because that creates more of an ambient for people here to get interested in soccer. It took a long time. I remember when Pelé came and he was in the New York team, the Cosmos, and people thought that was the time soccer was going to take off. And here we are, like 30 years later, and still that was not the time.
Yeah,
So,
you need, what you really need in sports these days, and we're getting there, I think. But you really need heroes and villains, right? Like on the world stage, you have some good villains, right? Like no one likes what's the guy from Brazil, Neymar.
Neymar.
Yeah, unless you're Brazilian, like no one likes that guy, right? Everyone wants to see him lose, right? But it makes for a good match because you want to see, the good guys against the bad guys, and
Yeah, you hope he doesn't get injured. I just saw a game between Brazil and Argentina. Everybody was looking forward to Messi versus Neymar, and then they find out that Neymar is not going to play. So,
no. I mean, again, it's good to have it as long as like you're not
right.
pure sport.
Yeah, but this is a great opportunity. The World Cup is a great theater to see some of the best players in the world. And right now we have, fantastic players from all over the place. Messi, Ronaldo, the English players that are some fantastic players there.
You got the guy from France.
Yeah, France too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which as far as I know, I mean, I suppose there's great football in still in Brazil, Argentina, but I think the English league right now, the Champions League, is dominating the scene. Some of the best players want to be there in England, playing England, Italy, France. They're attracting some of the best players in the world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. PSG right now has Messi, and is Neymar there? I forgot what Neymar
I'm
is.
not sure, but I think that star player from the French national team is there.
Yeah. So, and again, that talk about money and ambition, that Super League thing really failed miserably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what a ridiculous attempt to sort of change the market that way.
All about money. All
About the money. Yes. Yeah. Somebody was commenting on the fact that some of the players wear on their shirts, some of the Emirates, and so that's how they advertise, because soccer doesn't break for commercials in a way that other sports do. So they depend on that kind of gimmick to make money.
Yeah.
Not that the Emirates need any money, but
You see some of like some of the Division 2 or Division 3 teams, to make some money, they have like 4 or 5 sponsors on their jerseys.
yeah. So we're approaching the end of this segment, but I want to continue with this conversation. It's so interesting to me that we have come a long way from, as I said, from the time of Pelé coming here to sort of begin the soccer, the wave of soccer. But and right now we finally seem to be on the verge of becoming a big force in competition, international competition with soccer. So. And I always believe also that it was local, our native talent that was going to do it. We're not necessarily going to grow by importing more and more players. I think that it's our players going to play elsewhere and maybe coming back here and bringing that experience.
Yeah.
But so I will continue this conversation with Bill Salvatore here in the Roundtable. Les habla Fernando Méndez. Dani Ramos controla la máquina digital. Regresamos en un momento.
You ever had this food before, or it's like the first time you're here?
Yes,
Couple times.
Couple times.
Yep.
Yes.
So what do you order right now? Which one?
We got the chicken tikka masala
Yeah, I got
and the butter masala.
Oh, so the Indian and Pakistani food is a little bit spicy.
Yeah.
So you tolerate the spice or everything?
I like spice, but we got the mild.
Oh, okay. So it's
But I can do spice.
and you?
Yeah,
like
I
spice?
mean, I can somewhat handle spice. Not too much, so that's why I got the mild.
Señores oyentes de Usa la Radio, estamos aquí de nuevo con su programa La Mesa Redonda de Roundtable, desde el corazón de la ciudad del amor fraternal, a future soccer venue here. Estamos hablando con Bill Salvatore, who is in charge of part of this effort to bring soccer to Philadelphia, bring the World Cup to Philly. You mentioned something that I find always more interesting. Remember when everybody was talking about how AstroTurf was going to revolutionize the whole idea of having fields be permanently in good shape and all that. And then what happened to that idea, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, for my money and the city of Philadelphia, we need more turf fields because our fields just take a beating, right? Like we don't have turf guys. We don't have the money to like maintain grass fields like we should. I think we have over 400 fields in the city.
Yeah.
Two of them in our system are turf. So it's like, it really just stinks because like we have to shut them down from, December to March just to get them rested, and then they get overused. But when you're the Philadelphia Union or you're the World Cup, right, you have the resources to make sure that you play on grass. Like you can afford to have the best turf management guys and the best equipment, and you can say no, the field's only being used for games, right? So
it's one of the demands from the organizers that we provide natural turf. Yeah, but for the games, not necessarily for practice fields.
No, practice field should be natural as well.
Also, wow.
Yeah.
So that's going to be So that's where the money is going to be spent. A lot of money, anyway.
Yeah. So we're talking about possibly. Have you seen Temple's new field?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Temple's field, we're possibly thinking about sodding it for the World Cup, just as an additional practice site.
Okay.
We're in good shape though because NovaCare Center's grass, the Union's field is grass, the Link is grass, and then the new field at FDR will be grass.
So those are the big stadia where the main competitions will take place. Will be Lincoln, the Union site, and what else?
The only game site would be Lincoln Financial Field.
Okay.
But from a practice perspective, they could use
Yeah.
the Union Stadium as a practice site.
Okay. Yeah. The Penn campus has a nice field too for.
Yeah, that's where the men's. I learned this on our trip. This is where the men's national team practices when they come in for matches. They practice at Penn.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a concern. Yeah. And so let's hope that that COVID will not interfere with the next World Cup either, because that was a big concern. Huh? If it was in the summer, in June, that would be. I think that there will still be a danger of COVID being around. I mean, COVID is going to be with us for a long time. In fact, I want to mention that there is 775,000 cases in the U.S. Of people who died from COVID. Vaccinated people in the U.S., 196,284,000. And so we need to get everybody vaccinated. We need to, and certainly we don't want this pandemic to continue. Look what it has done to the economy. I mean, so it's another issue that's really difficult.
Yeah, just got to get out of it. I think we're doing a good job in Philadelphia with vaccinations, but I mean, we really got to just get everybody vaccinated.
Right. So as you present Philly as a possible site, besides the fields and the practice fields and the big stadium, the fact that Philly is sort of well located in terms of transportation and all that. What other aspects of our great city? Because I think Philly is a great city. What other aspects do you present or your committee presents to the world to say like, look who we are?
Yeah, so I mean, so we lean on our past history of special events. So the papal visit, the NFL draft, the Eagles parade, all that. The national conventions for the politicians. Then we show off our infrastructure, the subway system, the rail lines, the bus routes, everything that gets you from any part of the city to the stadium in a timely fashion. We show off, you know, all our hotels and lodging amenities. We have plenty of places to stay, right? Whether it's in Center City or in South Philly or City Line or wherever. And then we try and showcase how we're growing the game of soccer in the city. So we showcase the Unity Cup, obviously the Philadelphia Union, when we host the CONCACAF matches, youth soccer, how we're building new fields and new mini pitches, all that goes into it.
How are we doing in terms of hotels? Are there more hotels expected to be built between now and
Yeah, I think there's
26?
actually some going up now. I feel every time I drive down Broad Street, there's something else being constructed. So yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Because that's an important aspect of attracting the World Cup here, because there will be hundreds of thousands of people coming to that.
Well, that new casino in South Philly helps. That's for sure.
Right.
I don't know how many rooms it has. I think it's got over 300 rooms. So
Yeah, so it's not when you worry about this, it's not only the aspect of the fields and the playing fields and the actual immediate concerns of the sport, but also the other things. By the way, how is the Unity Cup financed? I mean, do you get mostly government money? How are we doing this?
no, we secure sponsorship. We secure sponsorship. So we had maybe about a dozen sponsors this year. Global Philadelphia is one of our main sponsors. The union sponsors. We had support from the World Cup committee this year.
Mhm.
Chickies and Pete's, Eastern Pennsylvania Youth Soccer, who is like the governing body of soccer in the state. Trying to think who else. CASA, which is an amateur soccer league for adults.
Okay.
Yeah, Heyday Sports, which is a sport and social group. Yeah, so we did pretty good with it.
So you're saying that we cannot get the suburban people to participate in this, to get interested in this? I don't understand that, because one of the famous ways in which soccer grew was through the soccer moms. Where are they now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I'll tell you what. I guess it was 2019 or 2018. Forget which year it was. We did targeted mailing. We hired Witty Gritty, which is a marketing firm, and they did targeted mailing to all youth and adult soccer clubs within I think 30 miles of Philadelphia, to see if we can get a bump in attendance at the championship. And we had about 2,500 people at the championship.
Wow.
And like our target is always 5,000. We haven't hit it yet. So yeah, it's just we know we sent out to like over 300 clubs, right?
Right.
So
Do you think participation has anything to do with COVID this time?
This time, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. We had a number of teams submit their roster, and then like a week later say, you know what, I need to adjust this. These three guys aren't comfortable playing.
Right.
Which we accepted.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, yeah. Well, we have professionals doing that. Yeah. So we how about what's his name? Aaron Rodgers. What do you think of that as an example for our youth?
I know. He just flat out lied about it.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Anyway, speaking of our local teams, the Eagles have been doing very well, huh?
Yeah. It looks like they're turning around a little bit.
Yeah. The quarterback is is really pulling that team in.
Yeah, he's what's it called? I mean, he may not be the most skilled passer, but he's good with his legs, and he's definitely a good leader.
Yeah.
He's definitely a good leader. He comes from, he played at Alabama, so
Yeah, he set a record yesterday, like three touchdowns.
Yeah, 3 rushing touchdowns. Yeah.
Yeah, that was some. That was the first time in Eagles history for the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So now people are going crazy and they're talking about the Eagles are going to go all the way, blah blah blah. So
we heard that story before.
And then we end up saying, "Oh, wait until next year."
Yeah.
No, actually, not too long ago, we saw them win.
Yeah.
So
it's just hard to do it. It just is really hard. Any sport is really hard to win a championship.
People don't know how difficult it is to get there, right? To get a team, to get a champion. That's why it's amazing that so many teams repeat. Like we know New England, and other teams that have dominated for a long time. Dallas Cowboys for a long time.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of discipline, to remain healthy and out of trouble, and the Patriots are a good example. They have the right team culture, right? Like they all buy into it, and they're not. You very rarely see a New England Patriot get jammed up for doing something stupid.
Right. Speaking of qualifying for the sports, all these teams where there are a lot of immigrants. I mean, they don't have to be citizens to play, do they?
No.
They can just, if they're legally in this country, they can play. Period.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. We actually, at the championship, we do a naturalization ceremony. So anyone who goes through the process with USALA, not you're USALA. What the heck is it? USCIS. They can get naturalized on the field at the championship. So I think in 5 years we've naturalized over 100 citizens.
That's great.
Which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, another incentive to get involved in that in the sport. It has been a very difficult year with COVID and everything else coming. So I'm amazed that this Unity Cup has been so successful. I mean, I'm not amazed. I think that there are good people in charge like yourself, and there's a great desire to bring this to fruition. And congratulations to you and the people involved, because it's a great effort, and it helps the city. It helps everybody. That's what we have to pay attention to.
My background, right? Yeah. I come from a place where we take care of other people. So, that's what it's about. Like, how do we make people's lives better, and how do we make the city better? And I think we're doing a good job at it.
Now, what is the age of most of these players? I suppose it's between 18 and 40, but I don't know.
Yeah, so it's 18 and up. It depends on the country, really. Some teams do come with an older team. Some teams are really young. It really depends. I would say like Liberia, they're all late 20s. Maybe a few early 30s. Now, keep in mind they've been around for 6 years, that core group. So they could have started as 18, now they're 24. I'll tell you what, really one cool story. So the Sudanese team, the team from Sudan, they had a really good year this year. And I was talking to their organizer, really nice guy, Ali. And he was saying that in 2016, we played a youth game at Citizens Bank Park, right? It was for, I think, 14-year-olds played. And he said this year, the youth player from Sudan in 2016 played in the Unity Cup. So he's been around for all 6 years, and he finally got a chance to make the big club, which I thought was a pretty neat story.
Well, that's great. Yes.
Yeah.
Talking about persistence and discipline. Yes. That's commendable. Anyway, estamos aquí en Usa la Radio. Les habla Fernando MEndez en compañía de Bill Salvatore, hablando sobre deportes, hablando sobre el fútbol y otros deportes. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros. Aquí están Dani Ramos, controla la máquina digital. Vamos a continuar brevemente con esta conversación. Regresamos en un minuto.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Señores oyentes de USA la Radio, estamos aquí de nuevo con su programa La Mesa Redonda de Roundtable. Les habla Fernando MEndez, nos acompaña Bill Salvatore, hablando sobre el fútbol, hablando sobre un evento que él ayuda a organizar, que es uno de los fundadores, que se llama la Copa de la Unidad, de Unity Cup, que está promoviendo el fútbol en esta ciudad y a través del fútbol más bien sirve como una cadena para aproximarse a las diferentes nacionalidades en esta ciudad, que hay individuos de todas partes del país. So, Bill, you said you had 52 countries.
Yes, sir.
50, how many of these countries are from South America, Central America?
Let me go through it. Off the top of my head, Honduras, Peru, Chile, Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, Belize.
You have Venezuela?
Venezuela, yes, Venezuela. Trying to think. No Costa Rica.
Yeah, and then you have Mexico. You probably have Salvador, Nicaragua.
No El Salvador.
No?
No, but we do have Mexico. That may be it.
Do you have a Canadian team?
No. I've been able to connect with an organizer from Canada.
Yeah.
You know what else we don't have, which is shocking? We don't have a Chinese team.
Wow.
Because they just can't find an organizer that wants to put them together.
Okay. Maybe we'll find one. I know a couple of community leaders that could help us in that direction.
Yeah, it'd be really nice.
Put you in touch with them. People who are actually very, very involved in the Chinese community. I'm sure you have. Well, you probably have better contacts than I do, but I would like these people to know that they could help. You never know where help comes from, you know?
Right.
Surprising sometimes. It's like, what? He can do this? Okay, so here we go.
You know what we should do is when the new year turns around and we get ready to do engagement for next year's tournament, we should get on the air like in February to promote teams that didn't participate to get involved.
Our studio is available to you anytime you need to. You just send me a text, an email, and we're here.
Okay, good.
We would love to keep promoting this. I mean, the Unity Cup and the World Cup coming to Philly and all that. That would be amazing for us to participate in that.
Yeah.
So, by the way, anybody who's listening to us and for friends of Bill who want to connect, it's Usala Media Network. So that's what you have to enter in order to connect to us. We're on Facebook, Bill. So
I follow you on Facebook.
So yes, we have been talking about sports mostly, and there's, as I said, there's always a political component to all these things. Do you have the feeling that you have the political establishment, as far as you know, is connected to all this, the effort to bring soccer to Philly, the international game? How is that going as far as help from politicians?
Yeah, well, you know, the mayor's got our back 100% on it. And the governor's got our back 100%. You know, that's about all I know. I don't think city council pays much attention to it, although maybe they are and I just don't realize it. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but the business community is helping, you say?
Yeah. Well, before David Cohen was the chair of our committee before he took the job being ambassador to Canada. Now, what's the guy's name? Dan Typhy, maybe, from Independence Blue Cross, is the new chair.
Okay. How about Comcast, which is one of the biggest biggest companies here? So
Yeah. Comcast is like one of our main backers.
Yeah.
And the World Cup of '26 will be broadcast on NBC, I think, which is a Comcast affiliate. So
Okay. Yeah, that's important. Um, yeah, speaking of the finances of this event, and looking at it beyond this year, how do you think it will continue to be supported? Because that's what's important. Sort of have a way to continue whatever sponsors you have at this point to keep them interested, to keep them involved, and so on, attract even more people.
yeah, I think once you get the bid, right? Once you know that the World Cup's coming to Philly, I think everyone comes out of the woodwork to be involved. Like right now, people are kind of on the fence, like, oh, we're not going to get it, or I'm not so sure. And then the second that you get it, like then you see people who were like, they want their name on it, right? Because now, oh, I got my name on the World Cup, right? I think you'll see a lot of financial backing once that happens.
Great. Now, you mentioned a little bit of a human interest story with the player that you spoke about. Is there a story from this year or any year you have participated in this Unity Cup, a story that really impressed you, that you remember, that it really brought out the fact that this is an important event for that reason?
Yeah, so I mean, this is a bit of a sad story, but meaningful. So there was a player that played for the Liberia team. Um, his name was Daniel Yala, and he actually played in the Union Academy for a while, and he played on Team Liberia. Um, they won the championship. The next year came, and he was diagnosed with cancer. And he actually got on the field, in the championship game in 2019 for about 3 minutes, standing ovation. You can just tell, like, just totally weak. And, they won the championship. They carried him off, and, he died shortly after. And the amount of outpouring from all the communities, whether it was on our group chat, in an email, on social media, or at the funeral itself, because I was at the funeral, was amazing. A number of stories were written about him, and how he's connected to the Union Cup and Liberia and the Union Academy. Just looking back, it was so impactful that this year we created Daniel Yala Sportsmanship Award. We give to someone who embodies the spirit of the tournament, kind of like Daniel did. He was like one of the nicest kids you ever met. So the organizer from Team Jamaica, Alan Mahado, got it this year. So I think, a story like that, like someone like Daniel, who was so impactful to so many people on so many levels, that his name will live on. I mean, I think that's the first thing that comes to mind for me.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I always think of the big sports figures that sort of are worth of emulating, and some. That's why it's so disappointing when you find out they're like involved in drug addiction or doing something stupid, because they are important figures for our youth to emulate. So, Bill, I just want to say thank you for being on our program. You're always interesting and informative. And seriously, again, we're here for you. Anytime you need to say something, and you need our microphones, here we are.
All right, and let's set something up after the new year. Once we start engagement for next year's tournament, it'd be good. Maybe by then we'll even know what's going on with the World Cup.
That'd be great. Yeah, the new year is not so far away, actually.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
so anyway, Bill, thank you for coming to USA la Radio.
Thanks for having me.
Señores oyentes, agradecemos mucho su sintonía en el día de hoy. Se despide Fernando MEndez en compañía de Bill Salvatore from the Unity Cup. And nos acompañó también nuestro director aquí, Dani Ramos. Los esperamos hasta la próxima. Greetings from the city of brotherly love. I am Fernando MEndez. host of the Roundtable, we invite you to listen to our discussion of the themes of the day when we bring you regional, national, and international news.